Everybody, welcome back to the MR2 build. I think this is episode 5, correct me if I'm wrong. We've got a ton of stuff going on, so let me show you around. Today we're going to be covering the caliper rebuild I did. We're just going to be focusing on the back ones because they're a little bit more complicated than doing the front ones. If you're planning on redoing your MR2's calipers and you want to go the extra mile of powder coating and you think it's worth it, I would definitely say go for it. You just have to know that taking apart the mechanism that controls the crank to the parking brake is a lot of work, but more on that later. All right, Thor, what are we doing now?
Taking off this little dust cover.
Right here we've got 3 bolts, 1, 2, and then 3, and they are actually a star shape. I ended up just leaving the dust covers on because they weren't rusty and I just needed to clean them. Note to self, this on the brakes, this little copper washer goes on the outside, so remember that.
Come on in here, you guys.
To get it out from the parking brake from out of the caliper, you just have to grab this little pin and use some pliers or something, and it slides this way. So pull it up, and there you are. Killer. And then you're gonna obviously have to unbolt that guy. Let's do that. So once you get the caliper off the car, you're gonna wanna take off all of those old rubber boots. They've been sitting on the car for 40 years and new ones on Rock Auto are very cheap. So here is where the piston gets screwed in. Right there you can see a little snap ring that holds down the spring. Most of the disassembly is just fighting that little guy and getting him out and then seating him back in while the spring is under compression. There's a Toyota part called an SST that screws onto it and holds down the spring while you're reassembling and putting on the snap ring. But I didn't have that, so I had to make my own. If you do want to buy one, I'll leave the part number in the description, but people on eBay want like $40 almost for them. So if you don't want to buy one, I'll show you how I made mine. All I did was grab a drill bit roughly the same size as the screw that the piston screws onto and used it to drill out the inside of a little plastic cylindrical washer. You're going to want a nice thick one like this because the spring is very, very strong. Then just heat up the screw with a torch and twist it through the cylinder, and that's pretty much the gist of it. I'm not going into a ton of detail about how I disassembled and reassembled the calipers, just because Driving for Answers has a really good YouTube video on if you want to do your MR2 calipers, so I'll leave that linked if you want to watch it. He goes through everything. Here's a shot of all the dirty pieces before they got powder coated. Okay, right now the car is up on jack stands and all 4 of the wheels are off. We've spent a ton of time just going through and taking off all the calipers and cleaning them. Right now I'm cleaning this one. That's the next thing that's gonna happen. So I'm gonna clean off the dust shield, clean up the hub, everything, make sure everything's good. There's no rust or anything. We've got brand new shiny rotors to go on all 4 wheels. And at least for the front, we've got brand new calipers. So these have been all powder coated in red. We're gonna make sure they fit right, rebuild them. I've got all the parts laid out here. Most of them are clean, but we're gonna give them an extra clean just to be sure. So what I'm doing is basically just going in with brake fluid and cleaning everything, just to kind of rinse everything off. I'm obviously starting with dirty brake fluid because there's so much dirt on everything, and then I'm gonna go over again with clean brake fluid just so there's no dirt in there. Once you get everything back from powder coating, it is a good idea to make sure everything does actually fit back where it's supposed to fit. Like these screws, there's obviously going to be a lot of material in them, but I'm just trying to make sure that they actually will thread back in. It's a little tight, so it might need to be cleaned a little bit before I get it in, but honestly I'm able to hand tighten it, so I think that one's fine. But just go over all of them, make sure they all work, see if you need to sandpaper anything, and you should be good. This one right here is just a little bit tighter. It might just need some extra just chipping away at the powder coating. I'm obviously going to clean these too. These aren't going to stay this dirty. That would just look so bad. Probably just run them with that thing, run it with the wheel. It's about as good as I'll probably get them. See guys, it just takes a little bit of that wire brushing and it already looks a lot better. That one you can't even see the number on it. It's a little gross. Just taking this 17mm socket and kind of like working it and making it a little bit more loose. I don't know if you guys can see that, but just slowly getting all of that extra stuff out. It's squeaking a little bit, but do this a couple times and it should be a little bit better. It's already starting to loosen up a little bit. This build is like so freaking chaotic. It's like just kind of like whatever I want to do, I'm just doing it because there's just 50 million things and you just kind of got to pick one. I'm cleaning off these really disgusting dust shields. Just 40 years almost 40 years, 38, 39 years of brake dust. Oh my gosh, it's disgusting. And there's so much. Look at my brush. That's disgusting. When you're under your car, looking at the bottom, I know this is your worst fear. You know, that brush is so dirty, and this one broke, so I'm just using these pliers to brush. Just kind of hobo strategy of brushing. So after lots of work, this is what we're left with. Cleaned the dust covers as best I could, hub as best I could. It's totally fine the way it is. As you can see, we completely blew out that lug stud. I got a new one though, so we're gonna pop that one back in and it should be good to roll. I'm gonna clean up the hub on the other side and then we will be good to start putting stuff back on. Now that I've got both the hubs clean, I am putting together all these. Got all the little bleeder valve, the actual line right there that's gonna screw in like that. And next I'm going to put in the pistons. So that's what I gotta do. I gotta probably just press it in there. I don't know. First thing I did was put the piston rings in them, and then we're gonna press in the actual pistons. First thing you do is just put this the little boot for the piston right on it, just like a little hat, and press it in with this guy. It's as easy as that. So let's do it. Also, don't be an idiot and do what I did. Use a piece of wood right here. You're just gonna end up scoring the inside of the piston. Luckily it didn't damage it at all, but just make sure you put a piece of wood right in there. This one might be a little bit too big. I'm gonna have to get a smaller one, but yeah. And just cushion it right here so you don't damage your brand new powder coat. That is a chip. Whatever. Guys, I have hit a wall. The inside of the caliper probably should not have gotten sandblasted, to be honest, but it did because I had to get powder coated and it was dirty. But yeah, I'm gonna need to polish the inside so that the actual piston can go inside, because it's just not gonna go inside the way it is right now. Plus it's dirty, it's not gonna be good at all. So I'm probably gonna just get a polishing tool and connect it to the drill and polish it up, and then we'll be back. So that's for tomorrow. Okay guys, we are back in the closet again. I am genuinely tweaking. I have no idea really what I'm gonna do. I think the pistons, where the pistons go, are just dirty. I don't even know if they were really sandblasted or not, but I think they're really dirty. I have been doing a lot of research on people who have gotten their calipers powder coated, and plenty of people have had the people powder coating them screw them up and ruin their calipers. I'm hoping This guy has had like so many years of experience, so I don't know how he would ruin it. I think they're just dirty, so I'm hoping that's the case. I'm still gonna go with the polishing wheel bit tool to see if that fixes it, but please pray that I can fix these calipers, because I don't know what I'm gonna do if I'm not able to fix these things. I have to get them fixed. Okay, this is post caliper rebuild, Brighton. Don't be like me and fly by the seat of your pants and just go for everything all the time. Make sure you know what you're doing, especially when you're doing calipers. The guy did not sandblast the inside of the piston cylinder walls. That would be really bad. It would ruin them. Also, do not use any abrasive brushes on the inside. That will also ruin them. You'll score them and make them not work. I didn't do that, but yeah, don't do that. You'll ruin them. Another big mistake I didn't realize I was doing was using the wrong grease. So I had to redo a lot of my work that I did. Anything touching brake fluid, that's going to be red grease. Use red grease for anything like the pistons, which are literally being pushed by brake fluid. Use red grease. Do not use red grease on the slider pins. You'll want to use silicone grease, or you can find like specialized slider pin grease or caliper grease at like O'Reilly's. That's what I used for the slider pins. Anyways, guys, calipers can be an absolute nightmare when you have no idea what you're doing. So know what you're doing. Yeah, know what you're doing. So after all the mistakes, I was left with brand new calipers. Putting them on was relatively simple. I had to just fiddle with the little clips on the brake pads. It was a little bit annoying, but stuck with it, got them on, put on all the new rotors, and this is what they look like. So that's a wrap for this one, guys. I know it's been a while since the last upload. I've been doing a ton of work on the car, and to be honest, did not get a lot of footage of that work. I kind of want to switch away from all of the like showing how to maintenance and do more of like just kind of like fun driving videos and like cool additions to the car, not necessarily modifications, but just like cool stuff I'm adding to the car. Do be on the lookout. I will do the engine bay reveal. I'm just waiting for like a few more things to put on it to finish it up, and then I promise I will upload it and show like the whole restoration, and the before and after will be super satisfying to see. It's already come like so far. Basically where we're at right now is all of the calipers are now done, including the rear ones, and I bled the brakes. Not entirely, the brakes are a little bit squishy. I think we messed them up a little bit when we bled them, so I'm gonna re-bleed them the correct way and try and fix it, hopefully. And then in the previous videos, you guys saw we did all of the polyurethane bushings on the front suspension, replaced all those, and did the struts. That's gonna be the next thing on the list. After that, the car is pretty much perfect. Since I did the whole engine bay restoration, I changed out the spark plugs, and the car is running a lot better. I also changed the fuel filter. I don't know what it was. Something seriously made the car run a lot better. I don't know why I didn't notice it before. It's running a lot better, and I'm really happy with it. So once we do all that back suspension work and get the brakes all done, the car will be crazy enough. It'll be done. It'll be like at a perfect spot where it'll be running, driving really well, and nothing else glaring is gonna need to get done. So I'm so excited for that. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. All of you guys from Instagram. I will be doing like a car tour at some point, so stay tuned for that as well. But yeah, anyways, peace.